inspirational voices. I can tell you, because actions speak louder than words. When you do something 5, 6 times, we say, yeah, you know. When you do it about
Yeah.
15, 20 times, we're like, hey, this thing looks like it's gonna stay. When you do it 100 times, it's a totally different story. That is a
Yeah.
totally different story. That means it's here to stay. In my
Yeah.
book, anyway.
Exactly.
In my book, it means it's here to stay. And Ekaya Sessions is what we're talking about with the Love Child. Before we get way, way, way into the history of Love Child, let's welcome her to the studio, well, to our virtual studio anyway, as well as just to the program. Inkobo Yetu Moment of Truth. Ladies and gentlemen, Love Child!
Final.
Finally, and silapha ngokusikilewe. Kunjani dadwethu?
Ngiyacela manje kunye
Yeah.
njengesikhathi uthethe licwethe kodwa-ke sesikuthise ngaphambili
Oh
akuthola
yes.
direct. Yeah.
Igqeberha is never gonna be the same again,
Never.
because it's never gonna be the same again. Things that people thought they'd seen before, being done in front of their faces. It's available to everybody. People can come and see what's happening. People can enjoy. Artists can come and have a platform. Inkulu man, mkhulu lo msebenzi niwenzayo. What was the motivation behind these sessions, Ekaya sessions that you started?
Um, First of all, i-HR session ziqale exactly a week after i-lockdown was announced. So i-lockdown was meant to start, I think, on the 26th or 27th of March. So on the 5th April, I had the first HR session in my bedroom. It was just me trying to survive because, like, this is a new way of living now. Pandemic, we're not allowed to go out, we're not allowed to perform. So I kind of had to adapt in a new way of the Kwenza easy. So as Umnaka generally, I'm just someone that thinks outside the box. Therefore, like this thing was it for me. So with my knowledge of sound engineering, and also I'm a guitarist and also a songwriter, so I was like, you know what? Let me turn my bedroom into a performing space. So I did the first decade sessions, and then artists wanted to join in. So obviously it was just live streaming on Facebook. And then I kept on inviting people, artists, different instrumentalists, vocalists, poets, and all that jazz. So I think about 3 months down the line, I said to myself, you know what, let me clean my backyard and see what I can do with that.
Sure.
Well, the cleaner, I wish I had taken a picture about how it was before.
Before, because
Yes,
sabona after till I say sekuphi great and
yeah.
we're like, and I've always asked myself, I wonder what it looked like Nyani before,
Yeah,
because
it was pure. Yayindawo ubone endlini xa sakuthenga iwardrobe entsha and ngithathela iwardrobe ibekwe phayana le indala and ne-microwaves xa inkophuka ifestival okanye ngithuke ifestival zithathe ifakwe phaa, like old people shoes and stuff like that, suitcases ezindala zihlale phaa. And I thought, you know what, I woke up one day and I was like, hey, you know what, let me clean this place. And I cleaned it. And the this other guy by my instrumental just to have a proper stage. And for the longest time we didn't have a review. And I remember this one time, because after that 2 months, pandemic, so we could have like 10 people that are coming to watch. Yeah, but
yes,
so
I
yeah,
remember
but
that
and
numbers were still very low.
yeah. So around about that time, it was winter and Zibanda. So I'd invite people and be on stage. I remember this one time, Banda, Kuma, and people left. One should play, but I had
You.
to continue because I have another audience that is on Facebook. And I stood on that stage and I sang like, in a so 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 it's been a journey, man. Because I think Ayon Renando, it's a matter of that you purpose. Like what drives me the most, the purpose is knowing that this thing is bigger than me now. This thing is no longer about me now. And fortunately enough, I am a person that is for the arts, and I try and use each and every resource, each and every skill in the market to make sure that cooler and it gets to whatever level which you go up and down. So
And
yeah.
it's so beautiful to see this work that you're doing. Me first encountering you, we met at all kinds of sessions, gagate, you know. If it's not your soul claps, it's the what AIDS it means again. What was it? The others
Yeah, we met in East London also. Born
you know, it was a lot of different sessions where basically most of the audience were artists, and obviously all the performers were artists. The general public used to support then and there, but really it was about artists supporting artists, getting getting the nod from other artists, and then also sharpening the skill. So it became one of those views where kaupa and you run into, and I run into you or run into other people, and look at the stage, and we'd be talking about, hey, Usman Man is really getting there. Look how they've changed up in their team. These constructive little things. And so to take all of that now and have that in your backyard as well, where now you are responsible for giving that platform and that space to abanye abantu. It's such a beautiful growth to see as well. And also just understanding that a lot of people still depend on these platforms, because mhlambe that's the only platforms that they have access to at this time. Venues are not booking people like they used to. After COVID, now it's even worse, because even people who had really climbed up the ladder, so to speak, financially, they're taking what they can get, because nothing has really recovered kakuhle in that way. But to give people still an opportunity to feel like they belong into a community of performers and artists, that's a really special thing. What are some of the highlights of the things that you guys are working with now, and some of the the things that you've seen as people are growing? I mean, you're 100 sessions in, so obviously you've seen some trends and you've seen some things happening that you can mention to us, that you can see, oh, but definitely this is hitting the mark,
Yeah, sorry. On top of my head, I think we have plugged in more than like 70 artists. Because one of my favorite things about the sessions is that an artist would get on that stage and they could actually see how great they are. They could see their potentials and stuff like that. And because the Ekai session, it's not just a performance space, because we cook these songs and present and showcase them into the public and allow them to get to any spaces on social media and outside social media. And then from there, we would mentor these artists so that isn't this you need to apply, you need to make sure that craft is solid at all times. Therefore, you practice ngalo lonke ixesha. And if bangabana uthathwanga, this is the other move that you need to do. Okay, if you want to do your own thing, this is how you go about it, and stuff like that. So on top of my head, there's a guy called Unako Uzalima Kande. So he sells eggs, and he usually sings Azalkataria for people to come and buy Amkan. So I was
Oh,
like, I met
wow.
him. I was like, yo, Uzuze man, the session, let's exchange numbers. And then we did, and the first time we went to setting, azange ndacula phambi kwabantu. And I was like, look, abantu balapha kusekhaya apha, therefore abantu balapha take them as abantu bokuqwethu. They're gonna make it so warm. And he did this thing on stage, and he did very well. So, and then the second time he came, because we have an open mic, so he came And then I said to him, okay, you know what? We can now sequentially work the sessions because Diagbonda, you are writing more music and all. So we had a session like I think it was in Feb this year. And then when we did that, so now not only does he have content, a video, a live performance online, but he has good quality of pictures. And then, so through that mentoring program, because this guy, I asked him, what's your email? Let's try, there's a festival that's happening, let's try and get you in there. And then he says to me, yo, to some and my email and the other guy in the email. So I took him through these processes, the mental email, and then we applied for him. And then he actually got into East Flash Festival. So imagine within a space of 2 months, that guy went from Ukengamakanda into playing in one of the biggest festival in the Nelson Mandela Bay. There's a group called the New Voice. In them, but by a cappella group, and the common thing about the a cappella groups is that ingoma was killing up in Namabridge. So I had to teach them the structure of the song, that ingoma in a level is and how you connect with the audience is very important. So you need to apply ABC. So I mentor them, and they got to perform the National Arts Festival. They saw Otemsayo who saw a video was like, yo, I want people to sing, and then I said this I need to sing, and then the learn to the dance for two whatever that they are singing. And so for National Arts Festival they were featured on the opening night of the National Arts Festival. I could talk about how many artists that have gave up on music, but when they went to a classical stage, their music was revived. I could speak about the artists that couldn't get into radio stations, but through the same mentoring program, we try and make sure that, okay, look, Lungisa ABC, so that we're teaching for this. Obviously, like the corner, it gatekeepers anywhere. But one thing that we try to teach artists is independence, and also understanding that if Bangabana will create your own thing. If about meetings, you create your own venue. If they don't give you these things, like try and learn as much as you can so that you are able to do your own thing. And as Mali and stuff like that, that you need to make these things happen. Because at the end of the day, I don't like Lando. The art is not about money. If it's not about money, if it's only money for Obama, because then you got the money sound.
If it was not about money,
to buy it data, to live stream, to look good, to be on stage, and this thing was not about money. It is about money, but our main focus is not about money. Therefore, we will do these things with or without Imali, and then Imali will catch us as much as we are. Because like the platform that I created is self-funded. Like I sell Ginger, I do live streaming services here and there. I perform, I hire out sound, and that's how I make money to make sure that the ecosystem ends smoothly every week.
And it's such an amazing thing to watch. What kind of support, if any, has come forward to come and uzoxhasa lo msebenzi enwenzayo? I mean, just from hearing you talk about the Ekaya sessions, beyond what we already know about it as just fans of it, this is a therapy session. This is a revival session. This is an academic process. This is a lot of things in one.
Definitely.
And I have seen artists I haven't seen in ages come alive through these Ekaya sessions, and immediately after that, these are people who are all over my timeline now, in different places, traveling not just the province, but all over the place. So it's beautiful to observe. What kind of support is coming forward to kind of help this motivation and this space that you guys are operating in?
Currently, yeah, we haven't been that lucky to get anything like because people would say, but no, apply, and we do apply, but we I don't know, mhlawumbe babone ngathi we are able ukuzenzela, so we might as well continue ukuzenzela without being funded. But as I said, but this thing is we're not gonna stop just because singafumani imali outside. We will use our resources and stuff like that. But um EMBBA supported because after like the festival, it was from February to October, and then the end of November we have an Ekaya festival, which will take artists that were outstanding throughout the year and then Bazale in that big stage. So EMBBA has been like one agency that has been supporting to us. And also, I think people there in general, they see the movement and they would send money here and there. And I think I have an awesome team. I have an awesome team because like we're working together to make sure that this thing, pusha, ibhekelela phayana. And we ziba khona organizations that see this thing and they're like, yeah, okay, this is how much you have. Can you do this for us? And we would do as well. Because we have been fortunate enough in the last 3 years we featured on it. So even when the festival was online, we were there. And like batatu, they have been people that are for the movement and are supporting the movement. But obviously, we need way more than that because I don't think there's anything that is as consistent as this. For the mere fact that Sefike with 100 episodes, it shows that, okay, and being able to bring an artist like Utuniza Maswana and the Kora at Tulwana to come and showcase, working with other farmers that I work with. So like as they kind of make one feel about, okay, you know what, you can be right in the entire, and I might not see even the channel Goku, but it can light at the end
Oh
of the
man, oh man.
channel.
Has the
the
community?
corner there's a song of mine, Eti Beautiful, Eti Ndifuna Ukuviwa. So on the bridge, a drop of hope is all I needed for me to go all the way. And these people that I just mentioned now, they are that struggle. Yeah, but, so,
And
yeah.
I was going to ask how the community has embraced this and taken ownership of it.
So,
This was not even something you dreamt up.
so,
One day it was just said kawenze lendo sieza. You know.
yeah. Ooh, like my community, uh, my neighbors, in fact, they tell me that because when we play, the place is evaluated, but you can hear music and you can hear that I already play in the lab, it's live music. So my neighbors, they enjoy, they know that on Sunday from 3:30, Ziabila, even if the show is even there too, we don't have a chance to come through, we will listen and watch online when we can. We can follow and enjoy music in our yards because this is something nice that there's something nice that's happening up our area. We are
Oh
protected.
man.
The councillor also is for this. The street committee is like is protective over the way because we are trying to show even to inspire kids about around that. You know what? Just because you don't like maths or whatever, you can like music or poetry or kind of drama and all of that. And this is how you do it. And then I remember, oh, okay, like here's a living proof of this thing that I think I'm called for. Yeah, but so because we like it's all kinds of artists sport because even graphic designers like the artwork ezisedongeni is that abantu abasebenza ngamaplanga, we have chairs and tables phayana that ebezenziwe ngabo bantu. We try and have and give these songs to people to showcase amasiko or whatever into that I change. So we try because we didn't have these kinds of role models. Therefore,
Oh
we kind of have
man.
to figure this thing out in where to. And so now that we managed to figure this thing out, we can show abantwana. But okay, you know what? You can be a sound engineer. You can be a drummer. You can be a sound technician and all of that. Because they're now that we're here, we need to do this thing for these kids.
And is there no more beautiful process than watching the eyes of somebody who's almost given up open up when you tell them you can be anything, like you can be anything, like you can be whatever it is you think about. This is proof. Get on that
Yeah,
stage and be whatever you want to
and do
be.
your thing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you
So usikelelwa Bey uthi Siko Simamele uthi wow love child, thank you so much for allocating you to be you. You are truly an inspiration to many. And I
need.
mean this is just proof that when you touch people in a certain way, there's certain words, key words people use where you know that it's coming from only one place, and that's the heart, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and usihle somana uthi yena sidinga imali to buy ginger yasekhaya when we come watch live as well. So sanokuthi imali angendawo guys, uthi sidinga kwalo mali
There you
le
go.
yothenga le ginger le. So you live a very creative and passionately driven life. Everything about you is about creating. It's about expressing. Where does that come from in you? What sparked that for you to become, take us back a bit before even you were lo love child esmazio.
Yeah.
Who was that person that got that spark, and what happened? What was that moment that made us decide that this is it?
The song Ekaya. The song that I opened every show with. It's a song that was inspired by my great grandparents, whom I never met, but every time they keep on I recognize myself in it. And I really think it comes from Umnombo. I had to come from this lineage for me to be the person that I am. Utamkhulu, utata kamakhulu wami wayesenza ii-box zomngcwabo for people bangcwatshwe abanganandlela and means to conduct a funeral, and he would lead the funeral even though wayengengumfundi. And umakhulu wami xa esibalisela uyathanda ukuthi utata wayethanda ufaka wonke umntu kuba kukho abantu abaninzi apha endlini. That's how welcoming the home has
Wow.
always been, which is that yindlu yabo. So kule ndawo ndenzela kuyo ekhaya sithi kukulo makhulu wam. So that, with me being that person, with me coming from that lineage, and then I have umakhulu othandazayo, that transferred that to my mom, and then umamamu wayecula esikolweni, and then utatakhe naye ebecula, and then my biological father, he was a music conductor. And so ndipaka inhlanganiso ndisiva ukuthi utatakhe, he was in a jazz group edlala ikata. And so
Wow.
yabo yonke le nto, because when I was 10, I think in the I saw Whitney Houston, and I said to myself, I wanna be there one day. I'm gonna be there, but I didn't know indlela of getting there. So esikolweni ndacula, and then when I got to high school, I was told that ndiyilisa ikwayara le. So ndakhishwa emculweni, and ukhishwa kwami emculweni, I played sports and the focus on academics and all of that. And zonke zizinto equipped me to be the person that I am today. Because if I was not active in sports, bengazokwazi to set up a place ndedwa, a music performance, we set up all on my own, and like yonke into ekhaya. If I wasn't interested in academics, then there's a need for me to keep on learning every single day. Yeah, but so zonke ke ngoku zazinto, they played a part in molding me in the type of artist that I became. So when I gave up on music, I managed to decoculate all these other skills. And then when music caught up with me later, I was like, okay, you know what? This is how I need to do, which means all of those skills that I've learned, and also adding to the fact that I worked in a merchandising company. Oh, so I was a sales marketer, and I learned the skill of marketing, which is very important in the art sector. So I learned the skills of marketing with me being active, and then me being able to write, and also understanding the importance of academics in this thing that I'm trying to do. It played the play a big role for me to become the person that I am today. And so when I got into the music industry, that applies as yes, I got people that kept saying that, no, Balaka cool, no, you're wasting your time, no, like people would say isn't those things, and not understanding that the amount of noise that aliens are around you is actually lesser than the amount of noise that's happening inside you.
Inside, yes.
And that's all you need. That's all you need. So I got into the music industry because when I played sports, like my opponents would tell me that no, weak and stuff like that. As long as a psychological intimidations in the game before the game, or during the game, and I had to use my inner self to get out of that, and that's the other skill that I learned for this industry that in the end ndafikelela kuyo. So ndifike kwabakho zonke ezi zinto zithi no, you can't do you can't do it. No, but it's fine. When you program this white guy said the exercising is a hobby. How do you say this thing is a hobby? Because it's changing people's lives.
A hobby. You call it hobby, Angie?
It's changing people's lives. This thing is changing people's lives and putting people on the map. Like we are continuing like nobody's business. So how do you take that and put it in the same category as my hobby is watch TV or read or stuff like that?
Or I like to go hiking. This is not the same thing.
Yeah, I understand. It's not the same thing. So from Jebandilata, it needs my inner voices to make a lot of noise and whatever that is said around me.
What people fail to understand sometimes about the expressive arts, is that there's a very spiritual element to what happens. That's not a performance that you're seeing on the stage. That is somebody dealing with a lot of things that are happening within them, around them, above them, below them, and it happens to come out in whatever form they choose to kind of mold it out. Ubanikwas we understand at a level of your understanding. But what's happening with that person at the time when they're up there is not something they can put in words, is not something they can put in lyrics. So you have to separate that from common understanding. There's something special that happens there. And to add on top of that, as you were talking about, uba kusekhaya nyani for wena apho, but now kusekhaya for everybody.
For us.
And this is where the continuation goes, where people have literally found a home. The homeless have found a home, if I can put it that way. We have many very talented people in this province, but they don't feel like they're part of any community because there's no support. And I'm not just talking about support of people buy my CD, talking about support where somebody just says, I just want to listen. I don't want and hear what you have to say, because it seems like you've got a lot to say. So big up to you guys for that platform. You and your team are doing an amazing job. 100 sessions in is not any kind of child's play. That is a lot of work. That's a lot of learning curves. There's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of, I can tell you, there's lots of challenges. There's load shedding. There is there's all of this, but through all of it, there you guys are, and every time we see something there, it's like you're watching art for the first time every single time. And that's the beautiful thing about sessions. For people who've never attended sessions, get yourself to a session, because you might think a certain song, but let somebody cover it even.
It's a whole new world for you.
It's a whole new world. It's a whole new experience. Tell us how people can follow the movement of the Ekaya sessions, and how they can get in touch with you, how they can stay on the pulse of what is going on, because we're looking at the next 100 sessions now. In fact, and I'm talking to you, Eastern Cape Tourism, the Ekaya sessions should definitely be flagged as a stop for any tourism on a Sunday. Why not? Yeah. If people can go to monuments and statues that don't go anywhere, that just stand there. Surely.
We're standing there. We're not going anywhere.
How do they get in touch? Where do they follow you? And how do they keep abreast of what is happening with the Ekaya sessions?
We have a Facebook page. It's called Ekaya Sessions, and our email is ekayasessions@gmail.com. And my phone number to get to me is 0711 459 553.
That's 0711
459 553. Yeah.
553. That's on the comment section for anybody who needs that number. It's up there, so anybody can definitely get in touch. This is a bigger movement than people realize right now. Aphiwe Sangela Uti, for us, by us. And just adding that spice and that kind of backup. You guys are doing an amazing job. LOVECHILD, the voice of the Ekaya sessions, is definitely the most beautiful we've heard in a long time. It's the most powerful we've heard in a long time, and it's one. Just like when you're about to do something wrong and you hear a voice of one of your parents, whether they are here or they've even passed, but you hear it's one of those. It's a conscience now, and we hope you guys keep it up, because there are a lot of people hungry and praying to find a home like that stage and that audience and the kind of environment that you guys are creating. And it's a beautiful space that you guys have put together in such a way that it should be celebrated much more, but in good time. Nina, just keep up the good work, because it's not that people can't see. Blind people can see what's happening. It's now that it's the opportunity for us to show more people and make it a destination. If you're ever going to be in Gqeberha, there's no reason, if you're there on a Sunday, why you shouldn't go to the Ekhaya sessions. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, there's certain, if you go to a certain city, there's a certain restaurant or certain chisanyama, there's a certain Sundays at Gqeberha, this is where, that's where you need to be. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Love Child, thank you so much for your time. Beautiful work. Keep it up. We'll talk, the next time we'll talk about your music now, because we can't add everything all into one conversation. Now I'm out of time, but we will speak about your music as well as your personal journey. Today was more about the Ekhaya sessions because I think a lot more people need to know about this, especially the artistic community. If you want to play outside of your normal environment, get in touch. The numbers are there. The emails are there. See if you can make your way to Gqeberha on a Sunday and find yourself a new home as well, where more people will accept you, more people will be willing to give you feedback on your music, and you might never know. You might meet your next big collabo there as well, because that's another part of sessions. Yeah. Love Child, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my dear.